All right, who has questions for me about Fernando?
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us today at the Andretti Autosport Driver Media Availability. Joined now by all 6 drivers, a full room, a full table up here, of Andretti Autosport competing in this year's 101st running of the Indianapolis 500, presented by Pengrade Motor Oil. Fernando, you're on the end closest to me. That means you get to go first. I know this has been a complete whirlwind experience for you, coming back from your last race, coming here, and the first days of practice. Just in general, what's the experience been like for you, and how's everything felt out in practice?
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, it has been a good experience so far. As you said, quite busy from Barcelona to here. So, yeah, actually today is the first night that I slept more or less okay without too much jet lag. So, yeah, feeling better and better physically and also with the car as well. Obviously, more laps I do, better I feel. Yesterday I had my first experience also in traffic. So, yeah, it has been a good learning days for me. A lot to come because it's still very new for many of the things that are happening out there. But as I said, every lap I felt better in the car, able to feel the setup changes a little bit. But we are 6 drivers in our team with a lot of experience. We share, and I keep learning also from them. Yesterday on traffic, it was very good to organize these runs with the team, and they take care of me. Yesterday, I felt that. So yeah, today I will try to keep learning.
And that car is the number 29 McLaren Honda Andretti. Right next to you, an Indy 500 champion here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Ryan Hunter-Reay, driving the number 28 DHL Honda. Ryan, as a driver that's experienced a victory here, a lot of drivers go through this experience not getting that privilege. How hungry does that make you, even more so than you were before you had that first win?
I think every year I come back here, I want it more and more. And that probably has something to do with the hard times I had earlier on here. But it's just one of those places that becomes more and more important to you the further you get in your career, and you just realize how much it means. But I know it means that much to every other driver in the field too, so everybody's going to be fighting for it. And like Fernando said, we're all working together. We have 6 cars now, so it's a lot of data sets to pull from, a lot of opinions and perspectives to put into play, but I think we all work very well as a team, so we'll be trying to use that as a strength.
Joined by Andretti Autosport's other Indianapolis 500 champion, our reigning Indianapolis 500 champion, Alexander Rossi, driving the number 98 Napa Auto Parts Curb Honda. Alex, I know when you came into this experience last year, it probably felt a little different than it does this year as a champion, but also just with a year under your belts here in the Verizon IndyCar Series. What does it mean to you now? What do you feel are the main differences between when you first came to the Speedway last year and now?
I think the main differences are just knowing what areas are super important to execute and to get right in these weeks leading up to the race. Before, it was just about trying to learn everything that goes into it and a lot of the off-track experiences as well. But now it's I know what I had last year. I know what I'd like different, and I know just to have a general better understanding of everything. But that's not to say still, I'm still going through different varying levels of comfort out there, and like I've always said, the team that I have around me has been nothing but helpful in that regard. So I still rely on these guys next to me quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, it's already a pretty big step forward from where we were last year in terms of my comfort and ability to contribute, and hopefully that keeps growing.
Next to Alexander, we have Marco Andretti driving the number 27 United Fiber and Data Honda. Marco, you posted something on Instagram a few days ago that was just very simply titled Perspective. It was a wide shot of Turn 3 here at the Speedway. We know how much the Speedway means to you with being fastest in practice on practice day 1 and just the hunger to get your first 500 win. How has your experience been in 2017 so far here at the track?
Yeah, very good, very good. Getting more and more confident with the car every time I'm out. Obviously yesterday was strictly race, and I think today and tomorrow will be the same. you know, Brian is very good at keeping me focused on the race car, and you know, obviously that's what's very important around here. So, you know, I'm as pleased as I've been with the car right now in race trim. So, you know, no complaints there. Now it's just about just keeping it there, you know, which is very tricky at this place. Every day it seems to throw you some sort of a curveball, and the better you react, I think the better you'll be in the end. So that's the goal right now, is just to keep the comfort in the car, because we're pretty pleased right now.
Next to Marco, we have Takuma Sato driving the number 26 Andretti Autosport Honda. Takuma, you've shown incredible speed here and success here in the past and this year at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. With you're joining Andretti Autosport, a team that's won here. What has that joining, that pairing of knowledge and experience done for you here this year so far?
Right. Well, the success was almost, you know. But yeah, I've been there. I know how the race gets competitive and tight towards the end of the race, which is a completely different world. And unless you experience it, you never know. So that's good to know. And obviously, you know, come to the join the team, and it's a new experience for me again. And I never run like a kind of group runs in the pack in old house until really after the qualify. So it's a whole new experience gaining, and trying to getting more out of the car and learning how the team operate every single days. And like everybody says, you know, we have a multiple cars and probably the biggest team in the field right now. So it's gathering all the data, and so far so good. It's very productive few days, and hopefully looking forward to have another strong runs in the traffic, and quite looking forward to the to go to the qualify, which I never, you know, been in the kind of fast car in qualify in the past. So I look forward to that.
Joined also by Jack Harvey driving the number 24 Michael Shank Racing with Andretti Autosport Honda. Jack, you've had kind of the full rookie experience here so far, right? Little wall brush in practice one, but all in all, probably, I'm sure, just an immersive experience for you, and also being able to work with Michael Shank and understand that you're helping him realize his dream of running in the Indianapolis 500.
I think more likely he's helping me realize my dream of running at the Indy 500. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the whole rookie experience up to this point has gone about as far from as I expected it to as possible. A few mechanical issues, which is what led to the crash as I was coming out of the pit lane, still in the warm-up lane, and the car just went straight. But I think yesterday, where we ended the day, was pretty comfortable. Started to slowly build up, and I mean, we just had a issue after issue at this point. But I think yesterday, the last 2 hours actually went really well. Marco jumped in the car just to make sure it was all fine, and it was. And I think just before he got in is when they kind of fixed the issues that we were having. So I think honestly ended up yesterday pretty good, way better than the timing sheet showed, and hopefully it's just a platform to have a great month and keep building off.
Wonderful. We'll open up for questions. We do have a wireless mic, and we'll start with Wolfgang. Absolutely.
Two questions for you, Fernando. When you're coming from the Formula One world and going on the oval, I mean, in F1 you have G-forces very high, I would suppose, but even here it's higher. How you can handle this? And coming from Formula One to IndyCar, which are totally different cars, but I think nevertheless they have a lot of things in common. Is there anything you can take into advantage from Formula One to the IndyCar world?
On the first question, yeah, it was not too difficult to adapt to the G-forces. We have a little bit more probably in F1 and due to the nature of the corners and the downforce levels that we run there compared to the super speedway here. Probably in a road course, when you put the whole downforce on these cars, maybe something similar, but here probably slightly bit lower. I don't know, but it was not a problem there. Yeah, the cars definitely are different to drive. Obviously, if you develop your whole career in the Formula One in Europe, you come here in the oval racing, and the car felt not natural to drive because the car turns left by itself. So that's a little bit strange when you approach 10-1 on the first lap. But I had a good preparation on the simulator and a lot of information from the team in the last couple of weeks. So I think I arrived a little bit prepared for the feeling that I was supposed to have. So that was good. And yeah, so far so good.
Marshall?
Fernando, one of the most fun things to watch yesterday was as we got close to 6 with you running in the pack, diving into turn 1, trying to go inside, having to back out. Looked a little scary at times. Were you A, having fun, and B, were you having to correct the rear of the car with your hands at 200 plus miles an hour?
It was not a big deal, to be honest. It was definitely a new experience because you run at those speeds for the whole lap. It's not one instance on the lap that you reach 220 or 230 miles like we do. So, but you know, yesterday was a good learning experience. But the group runnings. So when you met some guys out there today on the practice, I think it's just different. It's not racing. So you learn, you try to pass, you feel the car, how it handles behind another car, how close you can be to the other car on the corners, but when you arrive to the race day, it's going to be very different. There are not friends anymore, so let's see.
Joey?
A question for Ryan, Alexander, and Marco. Y'all have got 3 new teammates heading into this month of May. How has that changed maybe the dynamic and the preparation this time around?
I think we're a big team that works well together as is, right? So adding the others in has been somewhat seamless in that, we're just all pulling in the same direction. That's one of our, like I said before, that's one of our attributes is being able to work as a big team and being able to pull from one another to benefit the overall good of the team, to pull us all forward. So I think already being a big team, it was much easier than all of a sudden expanding, let's say, from 2 cars.
Marco?
Yeah, I mean, I've just been really focused, obviously, on the 27 side, but yeah, it was good to drive Jack's car yesterday. Just to get a different feel there and hopefully get them in a right direction. Driven Fernando's car already, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, just maybe some different perspectives at times you get from them, and especially Fernando coming, being his first oval and stuff. So. It's been interesting, but it's still early days. I think still a lot to learn for all of us.
Other questions? Yes, sir.
Questions for Alexander and Ryan. First, Alexander, looking back over the last year, how has your life really changed since winning it? And Ryan, 3 years later, do you have a greater sense for how your life has changed since winning it here?
I'm going to do my best to give a different answer this time. I think just the appreciation for this race and the desire to win it, like Ryan talked about earlier, every year you come back, it's greater. And I think that, there was a point that Kate brought up in terms of once you've done it once, the desire to do it again is much increased. So for me, it's probably like 100 times more because of obviously last year being my first year and first attendance of the race. So it's an amazing experience that happens for the year afterwards, and I had no idea it was as detailed and involved as it actually is. But it gives you that desire to do it again because you don't really want to give it up. So definitely coming into this with the goal of trying to do it again, and we'll do everything we can to make that happen.
Yeah, this is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, race in the world. And, when you win it, it feels that way, and it changes your life. And then the years when you come very close to it, it hurts even more, like last year, and everything has to come together on race day. So, we had a good car last year. We led the most laps to halfway point, but it didn't pan out. And that makes you even more focused to come back and to get it done. So it's something that all of us think about all year long, every day, is coming back here and making a run at the Indy 500.
Yeah, Fernando, with all the great interest in Europe about you coming over here, what are the pressures on you to perform well here?
Well, as Ryan said now, I think this is probably the biggest race in the world. So, you know, to have the opportunity to experience this event is something that I think any racing driver should have the opportunity to feel. And yeah, I had the opportunity this year with McLaren, with Honda, and I think that's the main thing that why we're here. And yeah, try to win it.
Fernando, how are you adapting to the non-track parts of the weekend or thus far? So like fans outside the garage, fans at the airport, dinners, all the Indianapolis experience. I mean, you've been here before in F1, but what's it like now in this setting?
Maybe it's early to say, but I was expecting more activities off the track. Probably I will think differently when I arrive next Sunday, but right now, you know, it's still more or less okay. Yeah, the biggest surprise is to see the fans out of the garage or even on the pit lane. That's completely new thing for us, but for me. But a part of that, you know, we are quite busy, and obviously on the being 2 weeks, I think everything is spread a little bit day after day, and when we go to the Formula One event, it's just Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So everything is compressed in 4 days. And yeah, we have a very tight schedule there as well.
David?
For you four guys in the middle, do you think that Fernando has picked the ideal year in a way to come and do this? Because next year you're going to have a whole new package. You're going to be learning yourselves how it is to be on Super Speedway. And would it be better to all be learning together, or would you like to be, are you happy that with the same package that you've got as last year, you've actually got a lot more experience to pass on to him?
It's probably an ideal year because I think we have a pretty good baseline car, right? You know, he's with the defending champions, right? So our roll-off car was pretty good, and I think we made it better already. So you know, next year there'll be a steep learning curve for us, right? You're always learning, but you know, we have these cars pretty wrung out at this point. So yeah, I think this is a pretty ideal year.
We have one more question from Jeff Olson.
This is for Marco. Is there one piece of advice about this place over the years that you've gotten from your dad and grandfather?
Sometimes it's conflicting, but most times not. You know, I think there's always advice, right? And you know, one thing I can't pick out. You know, it's you know, you learn something every day from them, obviously, and you know, a lot of it in this business at this level, you have to learn by fire and go out and learn on your own, the same way Fernando is. Like, we can only tell him so much. So, you know, I think definitely trust your gut still sticks out in my mind because that's, especially on places like this, you have to do that. You know, you have to know it's loose before it's loose, you know, and so, you know, that's one thing that sticks out for sure.
We'll take our last question up front.
Fernando, you're trying to cram years of learning into a few weeks here. Obviously, you had in your mind a bit of a schedule for where you wanted to be at various points. Are you happy with where you are at the moment? Did the little bit of time lost on Monday set you back? And also, what's the priority and the focus for today's running?
Yeah, I'm happy where I am now. After the test at the beginning of May, obviously it was so different to drive the car, so different the place as well. So you know, I felt happy, but definitely not comfortable. So yesterday, especially thanks to the traffic running, etc., I think I was much more comfortable, happier with the position we are now. Still a lot to come. You know, I listen to these guys every day of what they feel, what they test, and I try to replicate the following day and try to have the same feelings of what they have, because obviously the first couple of days in the car, all the setup changes I did were nearly transparent for me because I was not able to feel the car. So now I start to do so I'm happy. And then the learning laps yesterday on traffic were very useful. I'm on the simulator in the mornings, on the car here in the afternoons, so plenty of time, plenty of running. Not ready yet, but I think I will for qualifying and the race.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. If we could please have you rise and stand against the backdrop for a group photo.